Today's video is going to be about fitting the RX7 aluminum brake caliper upgrade to a Volvo 240. The kit that you're going to get from us is going to include, this is one side of the parts that you'll get. So you have an adapter plate, a spacer, a set of shims, hardware, lock washers, and nuts. This is what you're going to put on each side. So you're also going to need a brake caliper from an 86 through 91 RX7 turbo or GTU. And then you're going to need a set of brake rotors from a 92 Volvo 940 turbo. The way that you know if you have the correct rotors is that you'll see these vents on the outside where most of the other, or all of the other Volvos have those vents on the back. The correct offset will have it on the front. So that's the right part. We're going to do this on the bench just so it's easier to see, but I have a hub assembly here off a Volvo 240. So the first thing that you're going to need to do is, in order to fit this brake rotor, you need to make the holes bigger, because a 240 has these steps on the studs, and it's really easy. People get confused because it fits pretty well. You know, it slides on there, but it doesn't actually seat all the way. So people will, you know, tighten the wheels down and they'll end up cracking the rotor from, you know, them not being spaced properly because they're sitting on these steps. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to drill these steps out of our new brake rotor. And the way that you're going to do, or the way that I do that, is I use a step bit, and you know, I measure the size that the stud needs to go out to, and I mark on my step bit where I need to stop. So it should go fairly easy. Of course, the battery's there. Okay. So now that you have all the holes opened up, you're going to test fit again, make sure it sits properly. I can see that it sits you know, flat on the hub and clears all the stud holes. So we're good there. The next step, you're going to want to fit the adapter itself. So you're going to get the shorter pair of bolts, lock washers, the adapter, and the spacer. You're going to put the spacer between the hub and the adapter, and let's see, we'll reorientate this here. So it bolts to the back side of your hub. So now that your adapter is installed, you're going to want to clean up the rotor, the mess you just made. And this is a rotor that I'm using. It's just a cheap parts store replacement. You know, there's options for nicer ones. I just got this for the example, but it would work fine for most. They ship with this oil on them, and you're not going to want to get that on your brakes. So make sure you clean that with your brake cleaner. Get all our chips off there. So now that everything's cleaned up, you're going to fit your rotor. So I can see that all the studs are sticking through the holes about the same, so we're in good shape there. Now we want to fit the caliper. The shims, your kit will either ship with 8 thin ones or 4 thick ones. It just depends on what batch you get. So when mounting the caliper, you want to make sure get your lock washer and the bolt, and then you're gonna want to make sure you get the shims in between the caliper and the adapter. You're gonna use a 19mm wrench and a 10mm Allen socket to tighten the caliper onto the adapter. And that's all there is to it. That's one side done. If you need to, you can adjust the shims. The supplied shims work pretty well, as you can see that the rotor's centered on the caliper. If it's one way or another, you can remove shims or add shims, but the 2 provided should be perfect. And that's all there is to it. You'll need a brake line to hook these up. We sell our brake line that's the right length and thread pitch to delete the hard lines on the strut tube. It'll go straight from this port on the caliper to the chassis of your Volvo 240.